Welcome back. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about Robinhood.
It's Robinhood season, dude.
Everybody is talking about Robinhood. We just did a live stream with Moon King and Ian.
That's right.
And that's the first thing that we were talking about is Robinhood.
I think we did one on Friday or Saturday also.
Yeah, that's right.
And like the conversation was also Robinhood.
Yeah.
So there's obviously it's the talk of the town, right? So
I think we got to establish like the stage here because we've been around the block and we've seen blockchains launch before. Avalanche,
a ton.
Sonic,
Aptos,
Sui, yeah.
Freaking Arbitrum.
Solana 2 was in the mix.
Solana 2, what is that?
Well, Solana.
Oh.
Solana as well, I should say.
It's like somebody trying a second layer to Solana.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Yeah, we've seen Base. Obviously, Base is probably, out of all of them, Base probably produced the most.
And I bring this up because I'm going to ask you a question. It's like, what happens when these blockchains launch?
Well, typically they're just like early runners to capture, right? Like Base had a few of them. Brett, I think, was one. I think it went to billions. It's just typical meme coin casino activity, right? Which one's going to capture the heart, soul, and mind of the community, basically?
So if I were to tell you Robinhood is launching their own L2 on Ethereum, what would you think would happen?
Some billion-dollar meme coin runner would emerge.
And that's why we're talking about Robinhood.
Yeah, but it's for sure. I think people who are speculating, that's what they're most interested in right now. That's why. And there is a contender in the equation for Robinhood, which is why everybody's like fixated on it. But what's interesting to us is like, is there a following act, right?
Yeah.
Because that's typically what you want to pinpoint and identify during a bear market, right? Just like when Ordinals came to town, guess what? There was a $1 billion runner in Ordi. Yeah. And that was a signal. And then guess what? There was like a year of following acts to that created an actual ecosystem where there was tremendous amount of opportunity there. 100X's galore, right? Whether it was like more BRC20 tokens, just,
new protocols,
meta protocols you can get early to, like DMT and NAT and such. You just Ordinals themselves, collections that exploded like Nat Cats, like the Bitcoin puppets, whatever, right? There's a lot of activity there. And so it's kind of like we're waiting for one of these chains to replicate that experience. And the basing, you said, right? Or foundation?
The foundation, yeah.
It's like, here we are again, another bear market. Here we are again, another chain / ecosystem that's like birthing here. So it's like, let's determine, right? Is this one actually going to produce any fruitful results? Or is this just another flash in the pan, 2-week hypium?
Yeah.
And then something pops off on Solana tomorrow, and guess what? All the liquidity's back over there.
That's right.
Right. So
because it's so easy to swap between the networks now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look. So Robinhood Crypto, Robinhood Chain mainnet is live. So this was, when was this posted?
A couple weeks ago.
July 1st. So an AI native blockchain, dude.
Yeah.
Built to bring real world assets on chain.
Yeah. So obviously nothing meme about that, right?
Yeah.
So like Robinhood's coming in with like a tone of seriousness to them, right?
Yeah.
And if you understand Robinhood, I mean, it's a publicly traded company.
And then when they say real world assets, you would assume as stocks on chain.
Yeah, because they are a stock trading application.
Right. That's right.
That's where they made their billions of dollars in revenue from, right?
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, it's a big deal, big implications. They're obviously neck and neck competitors to Coinbase, who again has a living chain and has been like the most, I think, successful L2 so far. So there's credibility here, right? Entering into the race.
Okay, so the Bunk Guy says, it's interesting seeing people continue to fade Robinhood Chain or think it's just some short-term hype or fad. Barely a week after its official launch, Robinhood Chain flipped base and daily DEX volume flipped BNB Chain, is doing 80% of Solana's daily DEX, is doing 5.6 Hyperliquid's daily DEX volume. So no other chain launch has pulled off anything like this in years. Like it or not, Robinhood Chain is here to stay. So in addition to this, Robinhood is a competitor to Coinbase. Coinbase has Base. Robinhood has its own chain now. Mm-hmm. Coinbase is not going away.
It hasn't gone away. This is why it's worth paying attention to, right? Like, yeah, maybe it hasn't produced as much results as people desire it to, right? It's like, virtuals did very well there.
Yeah, true.
An AI agent ecosystem is like being built around Base. There was the social coin, or no, not social coin. What are they called? Zora.
Internet capital markets or
No,
creator capital markets?
Creator capital markets. Yeah, like that whole narrative. Brian Armstrong was like briefly in support of. Didn't really go anywhere, but still, there's tinkering about and there was like opportunity there. So, and it's still around, right? So it's logical to assume Robinhood could pull off at least that.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. All right, so we got breaking stock tokens on Robinhood Chain soar to 60,000 holders.
So this is the unique value add, I guess, if you're looking for a differentiator, which is critical in crypto. Always be looking for differentiators. Always.
Yeah.
Add that to your fundamental bucket list, right? Because if there are none, then for sure it's going to be a flash in the pan, nothing burger of a hype. Like if it caught your attention, assume it's because KOLs are paid to do exactly that, right? And if there's no differentiator to keep people on chain, then it will just fizzle out once those checks run dry.
Yeah, very good point. This is a differentiator. But then again, Coinbase is doing the same thing too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's to that magnitude.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, Coinbase
they
natively is a crypto platform.
Exactly.
And now they're transitioning to a stock platform.
Yeah, so Robinhood has a unique edge here. So it's like, okay, cool. So we're seeing some early evidence of it in application.
Yeah.
But again, not enough for like a real bull thesis yet. Like a derivative crypto composability layer to people who own shares of a company, stuff like that, right? Like that's got to be coming next.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, if you spent any time on Twitter, you probably heard of Cashcat.
Right.
So what is it, and what's the narrative? So before Robinhood had a name, it was almost called Cashcat.
Imagine that. Do you think Robinhood's a great name?
It is a great name.
Great name, great brand. I love the look and feel of everything.
Yeah, it's great.
Now Cashcat, it's like there's Cash App, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been fumble big time.
Yeah, whoever decided to go against that.
But
MVP.
Nonetheless, the Cashcat token is doing some crazy numbers.
Yeah.
But co-founder Vlad later disclosed it publicly, a mascot cat carrying cash built around democratizing finance. The team changes the name to Robinhood. Cashcat is forgotten for years. In 2026, Robinhood enters crypto infrastructure. In February, launches Robinhood Chain, built as an Ethereum layer 2, focused on RWAs, tokenized stocks on chain. Then July 1st, Robinhood Chain goes mainnet, connected to 27 million funded Robinhood accounts. And Anon Dev launches Cashcat, native to Robinhood Chain, brings back Robinhood's forgotten origin story. Total supply 1 billion. And then everything changes on July 8th. Robinhood CEO Vlad, while we're building Robinhood Chain to the best chain for RWA, it works great for memes too.
Yeah, that was the big beacon, right? If you watched Lord of the Rings, the beacons were lit,
Yeah, so then the degens went to the platform. They're like, oldest token.
Yeah, at the time it was the highest market cap also.
Yeah.
So I was like, already it was kind of like organically festering just because, I don't know, it has the best lore.
The greatest lore of all time, clearly.
Yeah, in context of Robinhood. I remember it because I was looking at it. It was like 4, 5, 6 million market cap hovering around there for a minute. And then the tweet came in. It wasn't like a specific endorsement of this
it wasn't,
meme coin. It was just like an acknowledgement that memes are kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Right? And that sent it to, a new stratosphere.
Yeah, 100 million or whatever it was.
Well, yeah. I think 250 million has been like the recent all-time high.
Okay. All right, so that becomes the biggest meme coin on Robinhood. Cashcat is a flagship meme coin on Robinhood Chain.
So yeah, I mean, how much higher can it go?
Yeah, this is another meme though.
It is, yeah.
This isn't a Cashcat like new picture here.
Right. I don't think there is like an actual representation of the Cashcat.
Well, they are using that. So.
No, I know. Yeah. So what are you implying? Some IP
Well, yeah.
issues?
I mean, yeah, but
who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
But also,
I was hoping they come with some creativity. That's kind of what I was hoping for.
Yeah,
but no, it's just an old meme.
He literally Googled it's like cat memes after he created the narrative or identified the narrative.
Yeah.
Of Cashcat, right? Like he got a brilliant ticker.
But guys, we have AI. Just generate an image.
No, you can't be an AI slop cat, dude. You can't. It has to be believable.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, this is sad. He's sad, so.
I don't know, dude. We're trying to understand meme logic. It's not. It's obviously not. We're not too good at this. Right? Obviously, Yeah, we wouldn't see that cat and assume it descend.
Yeah.
That's the problem. This is why we're not good trenchers, right?
All right, but memes aren't the only story on Robinhood. There's some actual projects launching some pretty interesting stuff. So let's take a look at one. It says AI you fully own and control called Nerve Protocol.
Mm-hmm.
It says run AI on your own data and own your own keys, fully private, hardware sealed, experience Myelin, our fast model.
Okay, yeah. So all the fancy buzzwords.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
She said, you know,
Oh, look at this. They got Uber on board, Amazon, Slack, and Notion.
Now this is a real cook.
All right. So interesting.
We got some
I'm all in,
sliders. Right? We got some
we got
comparisons
tables
here. We're comparing. Obviously better than anything else that's out there.
Yeah. This is
what else?
bullish, dude.
Yeah, this is a solid landing experience.
Look at that. Generate some revenue.
Dude. Now we're
nobody in crypto is generating revenue like this.
Venice is in trouble for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So
Venice or Robinhood, right? That's a killer narrative.
Yeah. So clearly this is like something interesting, right? So let's take a look at the market cap. So it went from 0 to $8 million, and then now back to essentially zero.
Damn. Fuck, that's a real dagger into the heart, dude. I thought Robinhood was different, man.
They told us utility tokens were dead, and they're right.
Yeah. So main takeaway here is don't expect anything different from like your Robinhood experience than what it exists everywhere else on chain, right? It's like this is part of the course of like permissionless launch ability, right? You're gonna get people to come in with all the smoke and mirrors you could imagine, and really get you to lock in on something. Because we literally just going to the landing page for like 10 seconds, you cooked up a $1 billion comparison. It's like, this is gonna be lock in on Venice.
Yeah.
It's already trading at $1 billion, so why can't this? This is gonna get at some point backed and acknowledged by Vlad because he says this is the AI chain. Am I right?
That's right.
So buy, right? And clearly people were until this happened. So
this is a daily chart, so it was going crazy for at least 3-4 days, and that was it. So the dev rugged. If it wasn't clear, this was a rug.
Yeah. So be careful out there is all we could say. Even though Robinhood has legs for sure.
Yeah, but
because it's coming with differentiators.
Yeah,
it's coming with obvious, normie access, I guess, retail access points.
Yeah,
there are 20 million users, so it's like, but be aware, it's still treacherous waters.
Yeah, so be careful, right? So here's another one. It says Arrow, borrow against what you already own.
There you go. Primitives, DeFi, right? Who's gonna lay the groundwork to DeFi on Robinhood, right?
Yeah, I remember the 2017 days and even 2021. Everything was like a lending platform, and many of those lending platforms were all rugs as well.
Right.
So
this is what you asked earlier. What do you expect to happen whenever a new chain comes to town? It's like, okay, a core meme coin runner, because that's how you grab like attention and build community around a chain. Then it's like, all right, laying the groundwork of primitive providers, right? That means who are the dexes of the chain?
Yeah.
Like Base has Aerodrome, Solana has Radium and
Yeah.
Meteora. So it's like, okay, somebody's going to come in here, build these rails.
Yes.
And then, speculation will ensue.
Yeah, so not everything is going to be a rug, but you are treading through a minefield.
Right.
You cannot know what's gonna blow up. So this one is still on the upside. So 14 million market cap. So it's pretty good. And we don't know these guys. They could be legitimate. We have no idea.
Yeah, but we know lending is a very important primitive in DeFi. So
is AI, though.
Yeah, I think so. And there's others, right? And we'll talk about one here pretty soon at the end.
Okay, let's continue on here. So found pump fund on Robinhood Chain at 1.1 million market cap. Noxa, right? It says the leading launchpad on Robinhood Chain is currently doing 2.8 million in daily fees.
Damn.
That's almost 4 times Pump Fund, which is doing 750,000. And it's the same launchpad where Cashcat was launched, which is right now at 210 million.
Yeah, at the time of this post.
At the time of the post. So they literally posted about the token on the official Twitter. Token is currently trading on DBank's DBK chain on Noxa's own DEX. All the details are below. Rabbi extension. And here it is. This is trade fearlessly.
That's right.
You have nothing to fear here.
That's everybody's like hope and aspirations, right? To trade fearlessly.
Yeah.
Well, they pulled that off, dude. I mean, shit, that's quite a significant, coming out the gate.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. So then what happens next, right? It's like, all right, we found our pumped out fun of Robinhood. Basically, if you're out doing pump itself.
Yeah, you're in the Twitter spaces killing it, right? You're kind of pushing your own platform, right? Well, it says Noxa Launchpad hit 14 million in fees by being first to launch on Robinhood Chain. Lucky timing, not skill. The second that check came in, the team started falling apart. Insider issues kicked off almost immediately after the raise. Disputes over splitting the money, panic spreading through the whole team behind the scenes. Devs gone quiet, 48 hours with zero response. Core members on vacation while the project they're supposed to be running is not running.
I wonder how all that was like divulged. Like, how do they find out there's like
strife?
Or like people like literally already like on vacay, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just not being careful, I guess. They just don't care.
Yeah, but so all that's like, that could just have been, spice added into the lore of what's happening. But for sure, like they basically depositioned themselves from this opportunity by essentially going offline for a couple of days, right?
Yeah, after making 15 million, maybe you're like,
that's good enough for me.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's totally fine, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so someone asked, did they mention anything? And it says no plans and abandoned, but then said he has no idea. He's not part of the team. So this is in reference to Noxa most asymmetric.
Well, it's underneath it. Seems like the team haven't decided if they want to keep their token or just ditch it. Because it's a token that's not on Robinhood itself. Like you have to bridge it to, what's it called? DBank chain?
DBank, yeah.
And there's a process here, right? So it's like and the market identified that as an opportunity, right? There's a platform out doing pump numbers and there's a token. But I got to go through like a gauntlet of like unfamiliar bridging processes to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
That could be like super bullish, assuming like they actually do like some kind of migration to Robinhood.
Yeah, yeah.
And then this is the response, I think, in this Telegram. This is Telegram, right?
This is Telegram.
Yeah, no plans.
I said no plans, and it was abandoned.
Yeah, so not a good sign. More confusion. It's like, the fuck, mate? Why can't you just,
just play along, dude?
Just say yes, we're coming to Robinhood.
All right, so next is don't know who's running Noxa, but their launchpad has been offline for 36 hours. They were making $2 million a day and just decided to turn it off for an update. It's good to ship, but in the middle of a peak volume, huge opportunity for whoever can ship right now on Robinhood.
Yeah, so that's kind of look at Finn. He's like right away. I'm in there. Bags that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I assume Pump at some point would kind of step in and just kind of like end all these shenanigans. It's like, all right, Rooks, let me show you how it's done.
Yeah.
Elon. But so far, nothing. So it's definitely like it's a free competition at this point.
Not only that, Pump Fund does support Robinhood tokens. So they said that you could trade Robinhood tokens on Pump Fund.
Trade them?
Yeah.
Why not launch them?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, if you could trade them now, then I'm pretty sure it's just a few more toggles.
For sure. For sure.
Launching.
I mean, it's Ethereum, so it's like, you kind of know how to build there. All right, so finally he says, okay, Noxa had turned off the deploys completely with no sign of life. I don't think Noxa FUD is bearish for runners like Cashcat. They apparently stopped all fees for themselves and let deployers have all fees. So basically, Cashcat deployer makes money instead of them, and they just stopped any new launches.
Yeah, so that's the latest intel we've gathered from the streets so far.
Yeah.
This is the situation of Robinhood at the moment. And it's kind of interesting to obviously be observant of that, because assuming there is an open competition, which there is, I've already identified at least 20 launch pads that are on Robinhood now.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're all clamoring for the same prize, which is like, which of these...
Attention.
Attention and liquidity, right? So it's like, which of these new 20 platforms will actually produce the next, $100 million runner?
Yeah.
Whichever does wins this race, right? And then assuming they all have tokens, that's an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So something to kind of keep your eyes on, because, this is what happens when new chains come to town. It's like primitives like launchpads,
rugs, and
Yeah.
attention,
yeah, we're gonna see it all over again,
the
right?
whole spectrum.
And we'll see if this time around it's like attractive enough somehow that retail buys in, because ultimately that's what people are assuming will happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, retail is already on the Robinhood app, so
Yeah, but you think they're gonna come if they see rugs like that?
yeah, that's a great question. They probably will. They probably will because they saw. Well, it did 100x
Yeah,
in 3 days, so I'm in.
it's just hot potato, right?
Yeah.
It's just So we'll see. But yeah, it's reminiscent to a lot of things we've seen in the past, right? It's like early ordinals,
Yeah.
similar situation, right? It's like who's gonna be the infrastructure winners of this new ecosystem? Right?
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll see.
All right, that's it for us. That's been Robinhood. If you guys are on the Robinhood chain, you're trading tokens that you like, let us know in the comment section below. And please follow our Twitter account at the Block Runner. I appreciate you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.